Thank you, madam. Thank you, my great pleasure, madam.
Thank you so much.
First of all, thanks and gratitude for accepting our invitation and being your precious time with us, madam.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. It's our honor actually to be
Yeah,
able to work with your university.
thank you, thank you. Can I start?
Yes, sir. We can start actually.
Yeah. அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கம். With the blessing of Almighty, our founder கல்வி வள்ளல் தெய்வ திரு டி கலசலிங்கம் ஐயா, with the support of proud chairman லே வள்ளல் Sir, I am proud to privilege to extend heartiest welcome to you all for this 39th International Learning Series in association with the Indian Pharmaceutical Association South Tamil Nadu branch, head of the Kalasalingam College of Pharmacy. Today we are very much proud to have an eminent personality, veteran teacher, and honorable person, Madam Bama V.V. Menon, Deputy Dean of Pharmacy, KPJ, Healthcare Teacher, Malaysia, to grace this occasion. Let me acquaint you with the wedding of who is a yoga teacher. It is a great pleasure for all of us that she could find time to be out of her busy schedule. Thank you, madam, for accepting our invitation, spending your precious time with us. Madam, your presence here shows inspiration for the entire community. Most welcome you, madam. Madam,
Thank you.
very good. Most welcome you. I would like to extend management of CP for accepting conduct this international virtual learning. Next, I want to my special thanks Professor K. Anantaraj Gopal for his wonderful support and coordination in the arrangement of 39 learning series. Thank you, Professor Anantaraj Gopal. Thank you
Welcome,
so much.
welcome.
It's gratifying to note that session covered a wide range of interesting topics relating to the brazing through a pandemic with yoga. I hope this session be a good platform for the students. So, dear students, kindly utilize this great opportunity to explore your knowledge, your career. All the very best, fantastic students. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Professor Dr. N. Vengadeshan, the principal of Arulmigu Kalasalingam College of Pharmacy. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. I would like to thank AKCP College dignitaries for the wonderful opportunity rendered to me to deliver this speech today. Before that, a pleasant good morning to all the beloved souls of AKCP College, and also a very good afternoon to the dignitaries of KPJ Healthcare University College. It's afternoon here in our country. So I take special pleasure in thanking AKCP for the opportunity and also in wishing all of you a beautiful day today. And I hope that what I have got to share with all of you will benefit, will give you utmost benefit. Yeah. Thank you to Associate Professor Mr. Anburaj um, for his perseverance in helping us to test so many times and also to make sure this delivery is very smooth. Yeah. And above everything, I would like to thank Mr. Anand Rajagopal from KPJ Healthcare University College, my colleague, very good friend and well-wisher for creating this window of opportunity, creating this collaborative opportunity between AKCP and KPJ Healthcare University College. So I take special honor in thanking you, sir, Mr. Anand.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome, madam. Welcome.
Okay, and I'll give you a small introduction about myself, who I am, and maybe my journey, how I actually happened to stumble upon yoga, and maybe people are wondering how yoga in Malaysia, right? So my name is Bama Menon. I have been practicing as a pharmacist for 20 years. I graduated 20 years ago. And in my journey as a pharmacist, what I found amazing was we learned so much of pharmacology and stuff like that, but we never learned holistic medicine at all. In other words, we always treated diseases as they came. We were firefighting, basically. So in my journey, when I see a lot of patients and how they suffer from diseases and how we give them medications, I start to wonder, will I be one of those patients one day? Even though I'm a pharmacist, but will I ever become a patient one day? And how will these medicines actually help me? So the seeking behavior actually brought me to yoga. I was looking for something that can keep you healthy, can prevent illnesses, and give you utmost wellness, a sense of well-being. Yeah. So that's how I discovered yoga. And you guys have to be really proud of this because yoga comes from India. And it is something that India has to take pride in, you know. But okay, even though I've had 20 years of working as a pharmacist, but 9 to 10 years of that journey was actually related to yoga. At first, like many of you and many out there, I found yoga as an exercise module. I just went and joined and thought that all these asanas are going to keep me very healthy, you know. Then I realized that it was not just that. And then I started seeking more. I started learning more. I started finding more. So people say, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. So I guess you guys are ready. That's why I'm here today. So I was ready to find out what was yoga. So that's how I managed to find a lot of teachers. After 3 different instructors, I ended up in India to get myself certified. But the certification is not the big thing here. Yoga is not about certification. Yoga is life. It's basically your life. So it's not so much about, oh, I'm a certified yoga instructor, I can do wonders. It's not about that. It's about living your life in the right way. And today, I actually am very excited to share with you what yoga is all about and how we can use this not just to brace through this COVID-19. COVID-19 is just an incident, but we can actually brace through so much more in life, so many more pandemics, right? So I hope that my journey can actually benefit all of you as well in terms of wellness and good health. Yeah. So I'd like to share my slides now. Okay, Brazing through a pandemic with yoga. That's the title. I'll run through the index or the content for the day. a little bit of introduction as to what is pandemic, really, and if not COVID, what else? What other pandemics are we going to see? And as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were all put under movement control, right? So how did that impact us? And how did that change our way of looking at things? The myths connected to yoga. I'm very sure that many of us think that, yoga is complicated. It's related to twisting and turning your body in such a way that, you're going to become all like a pretzel or something. I have experience when I call people to do yoga. I ask them to come for free classes and they get so scared. No, I can't do this. I can't bend. I can't do this. I can't do that. They're so scared of yoga. So there is something embedded in the mind about yoga, which I think we need to clarify. And I would take the opportunity and the responsibility to clarify these many myths connected to yoga. And hopefully after that, you can look beyond and start embracing yoga as part of your life. And after clarifying your myths, definitely we have to move into what is yoga? What is the science of yoga? What are the intricate details in yoga? It's not just the mat and some exercises. It's not. It's beyond that. I would love to share the domains of yoga with you. A little bit of dietary tips maybe at the end, towards the end, and some important choice of asanas that you could use or apply in your journey with yoga. And then we will conclude shortly after that. So guys, pandemic, really, something, we would have had grandparents or, grand uncle, great grand uncles or aunties who would say, I lived through the World War I. I saw World War II. I was there during the occupation of Malaya by the communists. Well, I could probably say to my grandchildren and great-grandchildren, I was there during COVID-19 pandemic, right? There's nothing proud about it. It's just an experience. It's just an experience. The better part of it will be how we brace through it, how we came out of it. What do we do to stand tall and fight this war, right? So pandemic, if you look at the word itself, there's this. It indicates a large-scale outbreak. Basically refers to an outbreak, but on a larger scale. And it involves multiple countries. It is global in nature. It's infectious in nature. It takes a lot of lives. It's communicable. You can pass it on to someone. You can contract it from somebody. It can be a viral agent or even a bacteria. And definitely in this COVID-19, we saw a great economic plummet. That means a dip in the economy as well. So it can take a big toll on so many things, yeah? And what can this pandemic actually impact us on? How do we get affected? I have heard and I've also seen so many people going through emotional distress during this trying period. Familial issues, you can't stay with your family members or you're staying away from your family members for months. Restricted resources, you can't go out anytime you want and buy whatever you want, You are depressed because you're at home all the time. You see, human beings are social creatures. We need to meet people, we need to talk, we need to interact, we need to share. But when we are always within the same space, especially if you're alone, you can actually easily fall into depression. Fear, worry about tomorrow. What is this pandemic going to do to my family? Economically, will we ever recover? Those kind of worries. Domestic violence, don't be surprised. Some husband and wives who don't meet because they go to work often, now they're in the same place throughout the whole day. So some issues can actually arise from there. Panic. I believe during the start of the MCO, you would have heard of panic buying. People were buying things because they thought there's no tomorrow, right? So a lot of things can actually arise from a pandemic, okay? Now, there's something interesting to share with all of you. History's 20 worst epidemics and pandemics, right? Actually, we think that, COVID-19 is something very great. And before that, we had SARS and we had MERS and so on. But actually, do you know that even in the prehistoric times, we've actually had epidemics? The human being has actually been faced with these epidemics even during prehistoric times. Archaeological findings actually prove that human beings fought epidemics as early as 3000 BC. There was an archaeological site in China called the Haminmanga about 5,000 years ago, and they found that a house was actually burnt down containing bodies of people from multiple age group, and it is suspected that they all died because of an epidemic, right? Then we had the plague of Athens, 430 BC, supposedly caused by typhoid fever or Ebola. I mean, this is based on history. And then the Antonine plague around 165 to 180 AD, the plague of Cyprian, followed by the Justinian plague. Now, the ones with the yellow star on the box are all pandemics. Okay, you know the difference between pandemic. Pandemic is more global. It involves bigger geographical locations. Yeah, and I would like to draw the attention to this plague called the Black Death, specifically in 1346 to 1353. Now, this was the most fatal pandemic of human history. It took 75 to 200 million lives. And you know what was the cause of it? Rodents. Rodents carrying Yersinia pestis bacteria. So this plague, called the Black Death, was by far the worst pandemic in human history. And then shortly, in 1545, between 1545 and 1548, we had the Mexico and Central America being affected by the Coco-Leadsky epidemic. It took about 15 million lives. And guess what? It was caused by probably Salmonella typhi, something very common, right? And then we had a string of plagues that affected America in the 16th century, London, France, the Russian plague. So all these were all caused by Yersinia pestis bacteria. And then we had the Philadelphia yellow fever in 1793. That one caused around 5,000 lives. The flu pandemic in the 1800s took about 1 million people, caused by H3N8. This is something we hear more common now, H1N2, H1N1 and whatnot, right? The whole series of the virus in the same family. And we have the Spanish flu, 1918, 1920. It took about 100 million people's lives, caused by the H1N1 virus. And then the Asian flu. And what about AIDS? AIDS is a pandemic that we're fighting until today, since 1981. It has taken far about 35 million people's lives, and it's caused by the human immunodeficiency virus. And it was a pandemic that originated from Africa. I think all of us know this, right? Now, if you see, I've put SARS in red because it was not the worst pandemic ever. It was just a very simple pandemic. It took very few lives, but it was very well spread. That's why it's in the pandemic category. Okay, it was caused by the SARS-CoV-1 virus. Now we are meeting the second version of that, right? It affected 26 countries. As you can see, it's very well spread. Okay, and then we had the H1N1 swine flu pandemic, and followed by MERS. MERS is also not the worst epidemic or pandemic. It's just a simple one that took about close to 1,000 lives. But it affected 27 countries. That means it was well spread. Then in 2014, we had the African Ebola epidemic. That is a very frightening disease. It affected the West Africa, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. COVID-19 pandemic, well, here we are in 2019. So far, as of yesterday, it has taken more than 580,000 lives, and it's still growing. The numbers are still growing. Some countries are still under lockdown situation, and it is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and its origin is from Wuhan, China. Now, my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, what's next? Looking at the track record, we seem to be having a pandemic or an epidemic every 3 years, 3 to 5 years, right? So should we expect another one in 3 years' time? And if we do, how are we well prepared for that? How is the human race well prepared ever for any of these epidemics and pandemics? Looks like we have grown so much technologically, medically, in so many ways, but yet we still fall victim to the most microscopic agent, a virus or a bacteria. That is very sad, isn't it? At the end of the day, if you look at human civilization, with all this modernization, are we healthier or are we sicker? Are we better or are we worse off? So that is a question that all of us have to pose to ourselves. Are we living a healthy life despite all this magnanimous growth around us? So I would say that yes, we will be facing more pandemics in future because of urbanization, because of development, because of changes in even temperature, even the weather, right? So we will face more pandemics, definitely. But that is an actual real pandemic caused by a microscopic agent. What about the pandemics that we face on a daily basis? The pandemic of greed, selfishness, laziness, anger, gluttony. So these are pandemics that we've been facing on a daily basis. Why I call it a pandemic? Because it's well spread all over the world. We have people like this everywhere. And why I call it a pandemic? Because it is contagious. You can just follow another person who's greedy and become like him or her. We can become greedy by following our partners, our friends, our group. They eat, we eat, so it's so easy to contract this. So whatever pandemics that we are facing, whether it is caused by virus, bacteria, or even if it's a pandemic in the other way, our attitude or our practices, we can brace through this, definitely. We can win this with yoga, definitely. Okay, shortly after the COVID-19 started breaking out, right, and gaining popularity in so many countries, all countries started looking at one thing: controlling your movement. So movement control order came in shortly after that. What is the impact on us? Many of us were afraid, actually, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We were afraid of the unknown, whether we are going to improve, whether we are ever going to go to work again, we don't know. Some people are separated from their families because they work in other parts of the country, expatriates and all. So when will they ever see their family again? So there were a lot of worries in the mind, So the impact to the human race itself with this MCO happening, loss of income. Many people, even some very personal to me, people that I know, have lost their source of income with no guarantee of when they can regain it. Okay, this loss of income puts them into a financial stress after that. So that, and then some people feel that they have too much time at home now. Oh no, work is an escape zone for many people, believe it or not. Now they have to stay at home. Weight gain, a big issue. The first few weeks, I think a lot of my friends were complaining mostly about this, weight control. Oh my God, I've gained weight. Because we're at home and we can eat anytime we want. And then the domestic issues that we face. Too much family time. Too much screening time. Now, I have put the impacts which are negative and positive both over here. Because impact doesn't mean it has to be negative. Some of us, you have to think about the industry that generated the face mask, the sanitizer. What about the industry that controls the food delivery? All these people actually increase their income 2 to 3 folds because of this pandemic. So there are positive impacts as well. Some people actually started spending time at home and doing exercise. They actually gained health. They actually started living healthier, eating better, Some people actually attain domestic bliss. That means they could actually finally sit together with their family and have a decent meal without rushing and without eating on the go. Some of us actually were excited because we could be with our family. Some of us actually loved the time that we spent at home, right? So the impact of MCO is so different to everybody. I cannot list everything. It'll be impossible because different people would have seen different things um, in this MCO itself. Yeah. Now, how does MCO gel in with yoga? So in yoga is actually a lifestyle, right? It's basically a lifestyle. I'll go into the mechanics of it in a while. First of all, if you want to brace through the pandemic, brace through the MCO with yoga, you have to first make a very important decision. Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to move into wellness? Or are you comfortable with what you are now? With whatever you are. If you're overweight and you have movement issues, you have a range of motions which are limited, and you're happy with that, fine. If you're happy with it, we won't disturb you. But you must guarantee yourself that you will be like that forever. Meaning you won't fall into a negative, zone where you actually fall sick or something. You better make sure that you're healthy, right? So you can take care of the people around you. So first of all, we have to decide to move into wellness. Making this decision is actually not that easy. You can always say, okay, fine, today I'm doing yoga. But are you just going to do some exercise on the mat, or are you going to really have a reformed life moving on? Organize your life. If you live in a clutter, then it's time to declutter. You really need to declutter your life. Install some discipline. Work with simple asanas. You don't have to become an acrobat or a magician, or you don't have to jump from tree to tree. You have to just be very selective about what are the asanas that will benefit you, that can align your body in a proper manner and keep you healthy. Eat healthy and with some consciousness, not just blindly eating, you eat with some conscious value to it. Choose your food. Like what I always tell my students, this body is like a temple. It's like a temple, So what you put inside is very important. Do you want to put anything and everything inside? Or you want to choose what you put inside? Things that is divine, is going to enhance your senses, is going to enhance your prana, those kind of things. What do you want to choose to eat? And when you eat it, have that feeling that, yes, this that I'm eating is going to become me. It's going to become me. It's going to enrich me. Watch your posture. Even though you do yoga, but most of the time, if you look at your lifestyle, you either sit in front of a screen, or you sit in front of the television is also a screen, or you will be probably standing. So how are you standing? How are you lying down? Watch your posture, because postures can cause great damage to your body alignment. And when the body alignment is out, your energy levels within your body will be disturbed, right? Watch your thoughts by meditating. I don't know how many of you actually meditate, and some people have actually tried this and then they fail. They feel like, oh my God, I can't meditate, I can't focus. Later, I would like to share with you something very interesting about meditation. Yeah? Watch your thoughts. What kind of thoughts govern you, right? And always, this is my favorite, always think of goodness and happiness. Meaning, if you have a choice to think of somebody in a good way or in a negative way, choose the good way. Because it doesn't create any negativity in you and your perception of that person. So that's why some people say it's so fake. Why are you so fake? Why are you always thinking good about everybody? It's not fake. It is a conditioning of the mind, and it is a requirement for you to stay healthy, right? Okay. Now yoga, right? So yoga actually arises from a word called yuj, which means union. So you can see this as a union between many things. You can call it a union between you and the divine power, union between your physical body and your soul, physical and your senses. So many things. So basically, it's a union, oneness, right? In the southern region of India, I believe yoga also means luck, right? Because we say yoga, yogamana valka, yoga karan. So it's all this. It means luck. It means living well, goodness, excellence. Yoga is a word that depicts this kind of illumination to life. Very nice, very good life, right? So that is the definition. But whenever you tell somebody, come, let's do yoga, a lot of fear comes into their mind. Oh my God, I'm not flexible. Oh no, I'm a man. How can I do yoga? All kind of myths connected to this, right? So let's break the myths first before we move into the intricate details of yoga itself, yeah? Okay, to do yoga, I must be super flexible. Not true. How can you do yoga, expect yourself to be super flexible when you start doing yoga? You probably will become super flexible at the end of your whole journey. In the beginning, nobody would be super flexible unless you're an acrobat. So flexibility is something you acquire with time, with practice. Yoga definitely can improve your range of motion, your flexibility, your body movements, your alignment, but you don't have to be flexible to start yoga. That's not true, right? It's another thing you have to bear in mind is when you join or when you start, when you initiate yoga in your life, you don't have to think of it as you're competing with anybody. Why are you competing? It's not competition. It's a competition with yourself. Today, I can't touch my toe. 1 week later, wow, I'm able to touch my toe. So you're competing only with yourself. Why do I say this? It's because there's a very simple reason for it. Every one of us is made unique. I believe you all believe that. Look around your friends, circle, your family, even your father, mother, yeah, your siblings. How different are you from your siblings? If ever all of us had the same body and we were expected to do the same things, we would all look alike. And that would be so boring, right? So boring. So everyone is super unique. And some of us are very tall. Some of us are well set. Some of us are very thin. Some of us have got flexible joints. Some of us have got stiff joints. Some of us are very muscular. So depending on this unique makeup of your body, then only you can decide what will go well with you and how you can actually improve your flexibility. So friends, students, and lovely souls out there, if you must adopt yoga, throw away the idea or the notion that you have to be flexible. You can become flexible, but you don't have to be flexible, right? There's a difference there. Yoga is only for ladies, yeah, because the media is like that today, right? They advertise so much of yoga for ladies and ladies teaching yoga. Even I'm a lady today. So it's like, it's so gender centric today, right? What do the men do if yoga is being done by women? I wonder if they go for badminton and stuff like that, right? So actually, if you look at ancient times, yoga was practiced by men generally because they were the ones who were actually looking out for the family externally. The women were actually building the society. Wow, what a big task the women were doing, right? Building the society. Why do I say that? Because women are the ones who create and bring out the children into the world, and they are the ones who nurture these children. They are the ones who make good individuals out of them. They are the ones who make sure these individuals go into the society with the right norm and values, right? So women were busy building the society and men were assisting them to do that. So men were basically very actively involved in yoga. But as women started becoming modern and the idea of gender equality, so to speak, I never believed in that anyway. I always believe that we are pieces of puzzle. We cannot be same, right? We don't have to be same, in fact. Why should we be same? We should choose to differ. So with these gender equality issues, Women have gone out to work, further their studies. They have become very successful, sometimes more successful than the men. I don't even know why we compare. And so they got introduced to yoga. They got commercialized with yoga out there. But actually, great sages like Sadhguru, Ram Babaji, they were actually men who practiced and perfected yoga. Even the ancient sages who popularized the idea of yoga were all men. The Saptarishis were all men. So it cannot be that yoga is only for ladies. So throw these out first, young men and young boys out there. Throw the ideation that yoga is suitable for ladies because it's so soft and so slow. No, trust me, it is not really that gentle. It can be tough as well. So that is the second myth that you really have to break. All right. Yoga is only for the slim. Yeah, I personally experienced this. A few of my friends who are on the bigger side, they actually came to me personally because I teach yoga. So they came to me and asked me, would you teach fat people? I find that very disturbing because I feel sad. I feel sad that they feel shy about it. Actually, yoga does not discriminate for the slim or the big size people. It's for everyone. There are so many variations and asanas that can actually induce weight loss. It can become beneficial for those who are striving to lose weight. But yoga is not just for the slim. Trust me. And flexibility is something that's not related to size and obesity. You would have seen that sometimes some of your bigger counterparts, they are more flexible than you. They can do wonderful things compared to you, right? So no matter how big a yogi is, it's not about what you can do. It's about how you can unite your practice, your physicality with your mind. The union in yoga itself, that's more important. And with time and practice, if your intention is to lose weight, that will also be achieved, definitely. So those people out there who worry that they cannot do yoga because they're big, that's not true. That's not true either. Okay. Yoga is not for the old and frail. This is another myth that people think about, say, I'm so old, how can I do yoga? I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70. Yoga is like for the young, I'm too old. When can I start? I can't start. I'm going to go to the grave, It's like that. That's not true either. Dear friends, dear beautiful souls out there, yoga is for everyone. This is the slogan you have to remember. Yoga is for everyone. There are so many asanas. 84 asanas, varied into thousands of asanas. Don't tell me you can't find a few that can suit you, can suit your body, can suit your flexibility, right? So there are so many asanas, even for the old and frail. Even if today we talk about chair yoga, this is something gaining popularity, and I think it's good because it gives opportunities for those people who are invalid to also do some sort of yoga, to bring yoga into their life. So chair yoga is there. Yeah. So I believe, as a yoga teacher, I believe in choosing the safe and correct asana for people so that they benefit and they don't incur any injury out of it. Right? That's what I believe in. So again, friends, yoga is not just for the young people. Yeah. So don't discriminate the old and frail. Yoga is for Hindus or Buddhists only. This is another concept. But this picture that you see here, the 6 of them, they're all my students actually. 6 of them are actually not Hindus. They're Muslims. They are my yoga students. They perform excellently in class and they're beautiful people, right? So yoga is not religion related. You can make it maximum as much as Hindu related or minimum as much as not related at all. So it depends on what you take out of yoga actually. So it's not just for the Hindus or Buddhists. It's for everyone. Again, I would say this is for everyone. It's a lifestyle related concept. You don't have to tie it up with religion and make it complex. And when you make it complex, you can't adopt it and adapt it into your life because you label it that way. So please stay away from connotations that it is for the Hindus. The Hindus own it. No, it's a science of well-being. It may have generated or originated from India, but it belongs to this universe. The Saptarishis were instructed to spread the teachings of yoga worldwide so that humanity will benefit. So who are we all? We are all humans here, above all the religion. So definitely we are here to benefit. All right? It is a wellness related process. Okay, so we are just promoting wellness and healthy living. So why don't you benefit from it? Why you want to stay out of it? Just because you're labeled yourself, right? And if you go online, you can find this interesting online presence. A beautiful lady called Farida Hamza, a Muslim yoga instructor in US. She has got this page that she's maintaining, the daily dose of art. You can check it out. I mean, she's a Muslim. She's a yoga practitioner, yoga teacher. So guys, beautiful souls out there, colleagues, friends, yoga is not religion based. Yeah. Another connotation or concept in people's mind is that I need to bend and twist like a pretzel. Oh my God, I would never be able to do that. What is that? I mean, what is this? I would never be like that. Some people may get so scared. I am not doing this. I'm going to break a limb or something. No, not true. There are basic 84 types of asanas, and now it has been varied into so many more, thousands of them. Don't tell me you can't choose asanas that can give you good benefit that you're looking at. So towards the end of my talk today, I will show you the choices that you have. For example, if you want to promote good breathing health, especially for those asthma patients and all, what kind of choices you have? You don't have to choose something so difficult. You can actually choose something very simple and still benefit. Our idea is to benefit. All right. So if you tell me if I go for a yoga class, I have to become a pretzel, no, not true again, right? Okay. Now we broke all the myths, not all, some. There are some more myths related to yoga actually. I just chose the interesting ones. There are so many schools of yoga in the world. When I say schools, I actually am referring to the thoughts. The thoughts, that means the principles. I'm not talking about schools per se. Schools of thoughts, something like that. So we have had Hatha Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, and now we have Bikram Yoga. Bikram Yoga is something that you do at 40 degrees Celsius, at a humidity of at least 40%, so that you mimic the kind of temperature in India. It is very good for balancing your inner health. So that is Bikram Yoga. Then we have got restorative yoga, Yin Yoga, which is more on balancing your inner energies and restorating yourself. Vinyasa talks about flow. It incorporates flow in your asanas. It's very beautiful to see Vinyasa yoga being done. It's like a dance, And then we have Iyengar Yoga, popularized by the BKS Iyengar sir. And then we have chair yoga. There's so many more actually, but I've listed some of the popular ones. We even have aerial yoga now, where they have got ropes hanging from the ceiling and people are actually floating on these ropes and doing yoga. So the dimensions are so great and it's limitless today, especially with the internet. You are actually accessing so much, right? Okay. Now from Ashtanga Yoga, because I actually learned Hatha and Ashtanga. So from Ashtanga Yoga, we practice something called the 8 limbs of yoga. Now, when you look at the 8 limbs of yoga, there's 8 things that you're supposed to focus on, yeah? Okay, I'm going to bring you through each one of this, and then you will see what I mean by yoga is not just exercise. You will see what I mean towards the end, yeah? Now, the first limb that you should look at is how you can be a human being. Yeah? How do you be a good human being? We call these yamas or moral values. Okay, there are 5 moral values taught under yamas, starting with ahimsa. Now, ahimsa simply can be deciphered as non-violence. Basically, it refers to kindness, showing kindness to all living creatures, being kind with not just your words only, but also with your thoughts and your physical. Satya means telling the truth, always, truthfulness. Asteya means non-stealing. I know some of us here are parents, right? So we teach our children not to steal physically, like you're not supposed to steal. But here, Asteya just does not mean stealing physical items. It also means stealing people's credits, taking credit for people's work. All that comes under stealing as well. So Asteya means non-stealing, not doing all that, right? Brahmacharya means moderation, moderation in expression of sexual pleasures in a decent way, right? Aparigraha refers to generosity, being generous. Whatever you have in excess does not belong to you, okay? Whatever you keep in excess is called hoarding. That means you're keeping it, you're not using it. Whereas if you think about it, it could have benefited somebody else out there. So that is under aparigraha. You are required to be generous and share your resources with people. So now, looking at these 5 moral restraints, it reminds me of what our parents teach us, our teachers teach us, right? In moral lessons. It's more or less encompassed in these 5 values. You practice these 5 values, it will make you automatically a good human. Somehow or rather, when you look at a person who's, morally an immoral person, a person with no moral values, something out of these 5 will be out. Example, someone who lies. So they're not practicing satyam, right? So if a person can practice these 5 moral restraints in their life, automatically you have achieved the first level in yoga. You have already proven that you can be a good human being. After becoming this good human being, with these 5 moral restraints, you are now going to learn how to live within the society, with other people. And that's where we move into niyamas. How do you observe living within the society, with other people? Saucha. Saucha refers to cleanliness. So Saucha is the first niyama. It means cleanliness or purity. How you keep your body clean, your mind, your surroundings, your family, and moving further into the society as well. Because when you keep your house clean, you keep your house surroundings clean, everybody keeps their house surroundings clean, the whole residential area looks clean, the whole state looks clean, correct? So Saucha is something that teaches you how to live within society in a good way. Santosha. Santosha is the aspect of contentment, feeling of gratitude. How many of us feel that we are grateful for the life we have? How many of us wake up in the morning and think that, oh, thank God I woke up today and I'm not dead? I think none of us appreciate our life, right? So Santosha is an aspect of contentment, gratitude. So when you feel grateful, you tend to show how much of that gratefulness you have to others, all right? Tapas. Tapas means discipline, austerity in doing something that is routine. If you decide to do yoga, you have to have some sort of discipline. And that's where tapas comes in. The austerity of repeating something day in, day out, without fail, without boredom. Having that discipline. Swadhyaya means self-study. How much you want to learn and reflect. How much do you want to do your self-learning? Many of us only learn when the teacher comes into the class. So, oh, okay, he's here now. Okay. But do you know that you can learn all this by yourself? If you have the interest and if you have the love and the intention to actually gain that knowledge, right? So Swadhyaya is self-study. And finally, all of us should be doing this. In Malaysia, the constitution actually calls us to have faith in God. Ishwara Pranidhana. That means we actually have to surrender to God. Whoever it may be. Whatever that you believe in. It could be the divine power. It could be Buddha. It could be, Allah. It could be a Hindu God. It could be any power or energy that you believe in. But you have to surrender totally with trust. That is Ishwara Pranidhana. So with yamas and niyamas, you become a wholesome human being. And now we move towards your asana and pranayama, which are the physical parts. For you to go and do an asana, you need to have the right set of behavior, the right set of discipline. You can't simply just go and sit and do something. You might lose interest in a few weeks. You may not even believe in it. So after practicing yamas and niyamas, you will be full-fledged ready for asana. So asana basically refers to postures. And these postures are not just carry up your hand, do this, do that. It's not a circus. It's basically a motion related with your physique, intertwined with your breath. Every movement into your asana is actually, it comes together with the movement of your prana. How does your breath take you into that particular pose, and how does it take you out of it? That beautiful movement is your asana. How you're able to hold it, how long you can stay in it, that creates the strength and the flexibility within you. All right. And lo and behold, with good asana practice, you will also go into pranayama. Usually, you are taught these two together parallelly, right? So pranayama is, many say it's mindful breathing, but actually it's a control of life force. Actually, you're controlling your life force. And since you can't see this life force, you can only relate to it closest to the breath. Okay, why to the breath? Because when you breathe, you can actually feel the motion related to your lungs, the inhalation, the exhalation, right? So that can actually tune your mind towards observing your inward breathing, right? And then with pranayama practice, you would be able to actually nourish every part of your joints, your body, with enough oxygen, with enough life force. And therefore, with asana and pranayama, you become healthier. Over time, you become much, much more healthier. You become much more than what you were yesterday, all right? Once you have become a disciplined human being, practicing asana, pranayama, and now because of pranayama, you'll be able to still your focus, your concentration. And now we move into pratyahara. Now pratyahara, even though it's written here as turning inward, pratyahara has got relationship with control of your senses. I'll share with you a small story. Let's say you are a coachman. You know what's a coachman? A coachman is a person who carries the carriage, right? Rides the carriage, right? You have got 5 horses that is pulling this carriage, and you are the coachman, right? You are the controller. These 5 horses are your senses. Sense of sight, what else? Sense of smell, taste. Yeah? So these 5 horses are attached to your coach, and you are the coachman with the reins on the horses. Now tell me, everybody, who is supposed to control the destination? Who takes who where? Do the 5 horses take you anywhere they want to? Or do you tell them where to take you? So when you imagine that you are in control of these 5 senses, that's when you're practicing pratyahara. Meaning, a simple example is like, say, in a buffet, your sense of sight will show you all the delicious, yummy foods, right? Some of us get very excited when we see yummy foods, And then the sense of taste, your saliva starts coming out, right? All the reflex, and you start eating. Eating with control or eating without control, that's where pratyahara comes in. Make your choice. What do you want to eat? How much you want to eat? Do you succumb to the sensory organs, or do you tell your sensory organ, no, I've had enough. I'm going here, I'm going there. So you tell your horses where to go, not they tell you what to do. So pratyahara is very easily done when you have the other 4 in control. If you don't have the rest in control, practicing pratyahara is going to be impossible. Very, very difficult. Maybe not impossible, very, very difficult, right? Once you're able to sit in a place, in a particular place to meditate, and you can actually control your sense of sound. Let's say you're meditating and someone is talking at the back, a phone call is coming in, all these sounds go into you. But because you're the coachman in control, right? So you are not telling yourself, no, I'm filtering all these out. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to respond. I'm not going there. So now you are ready with pratyahara in you, right? Really have immense control. Now, this is where dharana will come in. Dharana means concentration. Now you're ready to concentrate because you have prepared yourself to eliminate all these unwanted distractions that come through these five senses. So now you're ready for dharana. And in dharana, you'll be able to focus. So you can pick what is your point of focus. Some people do, this immense staring or glaring at a certain object to gain that meditative focus. Some just close their eyes and they focus between the eyebrows. Ajna chakra is there. So once you are ready with dharana, you could sit and concentrate without any disturbance. Dhyana will follow right after that. So when you move into dhyana, that's where your spiritual path actually begins. Dhyana. Once you are really well versed with dhyana, people actually, people like sages like the Buddha, they have actually attained enlightenment. They call this samadhi, right? Samadhi is described as pure bliss. Maybe we can experience this because yoga has got this as a target. Definitely it's within reach, but it may differ in the journey towards it. I pray that every one of you who uptake yoga after this will attain your samadhi in your lifetime, will be able to have pure bliss and will be actually tranquil in your life, right? You will be illuminated. I really wish all of you will achieve that, right? So as you can see, these 8 limbs, they defined everything that life needs, right? Moderation, control, simplicity, humility, humbleness, all this will come automatically when you practice all this. On top of all this, your health will improve. You will have very good physical health, right? Now, dear friends and all students out there, now you've heard of all these 8 limbs, right? Now, for me, I would actually classify them into 4 important domains. Your behavioral domain will require you to actually practice yama and niyama. Once you get that right, you check yourself, self-reflect. Nobody can come and tell you, oh, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that. Don't wait for people to tell you. Self-reflect. Did I be a good person today? Did I tell lies today? I should not have done that. I should not have done this. Self-reflection makes us a better human being on a daily basis, right? Once your behavioral domain is well in check, you can move into your physical domain. It will be very easy to go into the physical domain. And then your mental domain. And finally, your spiritual path begins there, right? So yoga actually provides a full circle of everything, okay? Now, there's a lot of detail in yoga, actually, a lot of intricacies in yoga. It's not enough to talk in just 1 hour or 2 hours. We can talk about this for days, basically. What I've done is I've tried to pick important things and just tell you, flash it to you so that it triggers your interest and then you seek knowledge. Swadhyaya, you go and you seek knowledge, right? So we often, I'm sure all of us heard of the 5 elements, Panchabhutam, right? 5 elements. These 5 elements are not just out there, out of us, Because we are part of nature, these 5 elements are also part of us. It's in us, right? We are representation of the 5 elements. And then there's the koshas, layers of sheets around us. We think that we are just a body like this. No, there's so much more to this body. 5 layers actually. And then we have doshas. Believe it or not, Ayurveda actually looks at the human body in terms of doshas, right? So later I will explain to you how Ayurveda looks at it. And then we have vayus. There is no correct word to represent vayus in English, basically. I can't say it's just the wind. It's not the wind. It's more like it's a dynamic life force, basically. It's a dynamic life force within us, right? And then we have the bandhas, the locks that protect certain chakras. And of course, finally, we talk about chakras. Chakras are so popular today. People are trying to popularize chakra, but I don't think you can go there without doing all this, people. Please, without all this, no point of you trying to achieve things which are far beyond, try to get the foundation right first. Okay, elements of life. As you can see in the Ayurveda, we actually classify the human body into different elements. We have got water, earth, air, ether, fire, right? So how is it depicted? Like water, the human body is 3/4 of it is water, right? So is nature. I mean, the world is also 3/4 of water, So you see how it's nicely synchronized with the earth around us. And then if you look at the parts of the human body, there's a lot of cavities within us, the human body cavities, and that's where the space is. Ether is basically space, right? And if you talk about the lungs, that's where the air exchange happens. So we have got air as an element over there. Metabolism is the one that creates the energy, the heat in your body. So that's where the fire is. That's the depiction of fire. And then you have got the flowing fluids in your body, blood, lymph, right? All that is the water constituency. And then you have got the heavy set bone and muscles. Those represent earth. So now you see 5 elements within you. So are you anything separate from this earth? No. You're one and full of earth actually. Yeah, you're one and part of this earth, right? The earth elements are within you. So now you can look at them with different aspects or characteristics as well. For example, like earth is often thought of as male energy because it's hard and it's strong, it's steady, stable. So usually it's a male energy. Water it's flowing, it's yielding. Women usually are easier in yielding to the needs of everyone around them. So it's a feminine energy. Fire is usually associated with determination, strength, or discipline, right? Air is more to light, space, dynamism, spaciousness, right? And space encompasses the other 4. All these elements are within the space in this world, right? So the same way, all these elements are within the space of our body as well. So it's all these elements are inside one another. Now, looking at the layers of life itself, the koshas, we call it the pancha kosha. Again, pancha means 5, so there's 5. So if you look at the physical body, we call this the annamaya kosha. Annamaya kosha means, anna means what? Food, right? Annadanam, right? Food, right? Giving away food and all. Okay, so annamaya kosha means food. So the physical body, what you see physically is basically food. It's nothing else. Whatever you eat, you become. That's why people say you are what you eat. The Annamaya Kosha layer tells you that you are what you eat, right? But beyond this, sometimes people also tell you, you are what you think. You are how you feel. You are energy levels. So that means there's beyond this physical layer, there's something else there, right? There are other layers actually. So Annamaya Kosha is just a basic layer, a heap of food. So guys and girls out there, please choose what you eat. Because this is going to be what you ate. You better eat something beautiful so that you live a beautiful life, okay? Don't eat unnecessary things and make yourself ugly, okay? So you are a heap of food and that is the first layer, first kosha. Moving inward is another layer, not moving inward, moving outward actually, is another layer of energy. This is the prana. Just now we were talking about pranayama. It's also prana, right? So this is pranamaya kosha. It's the energy field that governs your whole body. It's an aura. Yeah, some people call this aura. That's true. Some people call this aura. So there are a lot of this around you over your physical body, right? It flows within your body, and in this field, we will find these chakras and all the nadis, and all that. So this is your pranamaya kosha, okay? And after that, beyond that, we have another aspect called feelings. Feelings that, you like, dislike, you love something, you don't like something, you're angry about something, you fear something. So all these are feelings. So this comes under the other layer above us called the manomaya kosha. Manam, mind. Here, I'm not talking about intellect. I'm talking about mind, meaning emotions, feelings, likes, dislikes, your fears, your phobias, things that you love, you adore, right? Those kind of things, right? This manomaya kosha determines how you feel about things. For example, when you do something, your physical annamaya kosha is going to be doing it. For example, I'm going to make a phone call. So I'm going to use my hand and take this phone and press the numbers or whatever and make a phone call. That is basically the physical body doing the work. But to do that, I needed the energy within, the life force within to move my hand. That was the pranamaya kosha. And what I'm doing, whether it creates happiness in me, I'm calling someone because I love the person, or I'm calling because I don't want to call, I have to. That's the manomaya kosha, right? Above all these three, now this three is more to physical part. Now above all these three, we have the vijnanamaya kosha, intellect or wisdom, knowing that you're making a call. The knowingness of that is your vijnanamaya kosha, right? So it's the inner consciousness of things, right? It is also related to your faith, what you believe in, how much you believe in something, all right? And of course, finally, above all these layers, we have the bigger layer called the Anandamaya kosha, the bliss. Actually, we see this in small amounts in our daily life. We do something and we feel so blissful about it. Sometimes like you eat something that you really love and it creates very blissful feeling. Sometimes you see a friend that you have not seen for many years and the feeling that you get, the bliss that you create within is immense, right? So all these layers are us. It makes us up. This is what we are. Okay? So at the Annamaya Kosha level, it's basically what you see physically. Yeah? So if you eat a lot, you're just going to become a big person physically. Now the disease that comes is because of the imbalance in the Pranamaya Kosha. That means now your prana is not properly aligned because of what you've been doing to your Annamaya Kosha. So you're going to get some disease and that's going to create some bad emotions and sadness. It's going to affect your Manomaya Kosha. Obviously, you're not going to be blissful when you're sick, right? So remember, guys and girls, all of you out there, what you eat determines what you are. And that determines how you feel. That determines whether you will be happy or not. Okay, so all these are also part of yoga. Okay, I was talking about this earlier. Now, Ayurveda, the science of living. It's not the science of medicine, you know. That's the wonderful definition. It's the science of living, how to live well. So even in ancient times in Ayurveda, the Indians have already promoted the sense of well-being, living well with the science of Ayurveda. So in Ayurveda, all the 5 elements are depicted as part of our body in different constituents. For example, they have differentiated all these elements into 3 main koshas. Main doshas. We call it the Vata dosha, Kapha dosha, and Pitta dosha. So in these 3 doshas, the 5 elements are embodied. Like we talk about Vata dosha, we have got air and space. Now, guys and girls, listen to the words of the elements itself, air and space. You can imagine a person who has got a lot of Vata dosha. How would they look like? Very thin and light, right? Lightweight, dry, correct? So these are the attributes shown by a person with a lot of Vata in them, all right? Now, if you talk about Kabam is usually composed of earth and water. So it's more to wetness, heavy, solid. So usually people with this Kapha dosha are more of the well-set weight. I'm not talking about obesity, by the way. Obesity is man-made. We made it. We created that. Kabam means well-set. It's a nice body weight. They have got good, well-set body weight. They are usually bigger built than Vata and Pitta. It is strong frame. They have got good hair, actually, very nice, luscious hair, because they have water. They have water, so they have got moisture in them, and usually they are solid. They are very steady people, right? But unfortunately, they have tendency of accumulating water in their system, so they get edematous very easily. They get cough and colds very easily, you know. And what about the people with pitta dosha? So pitta is reflected by fire and water. As you know, fire is heat. So people with this pitta dosha usually are warm. They are very warm. They are usually a lot of heat is generated in them. But they are between Vadam and Kapam in terms of size. They are usually nice, muscular, well built. Okay. And these people, when they go out in the sun just a little bit, they get suntan very easily because they themselves are like walking sun, right? Walking fire, you know. And they are very warm. They have got warm extremities. All right. And usually they are prone to inflammation in the muscles. So you see, dosha actually teaches you to even look at a person externally, holistically, and discover what could be wrong with them. So Ayurveda basically found a way to look at a human being holistically, treat them, and balance out all these doshas. Now, it doesn't mean that if you have one dosha, you won't have the other. Some people are a combination of all the three. Some are a combination of two. Some have got a predominant one dosha and a little bit of the others. So it depends on what predominates in you. You carry that characteristics. So for people who are obese, they cannot simply claim that they have kapha in their system. No, because obesity is something that we create because of an imbalance in our diet. All right. So looking at these doshas, this is another way we can actually control what we eat, eating what is suitable with our dosha, and preserve our health and live a healthy and happy life, you know. Look at this picture, it can tell you a lot. You see, people with vata dosha usually are very thin frame, you know, they're very lean, very little fat on them, right? They have very dry hair. I have a lot of vasam in me as well. I have this dry hair problem, dry skin problem, you know. They experience all this because of that composition in them. Right? And then if you look at pittam, they are moderately sized. That means they are usually, I would say, they are better than the vata, and you know, they have better body structure. They're well distributed. Okay, and for kapam, they are also well set. It just looks like they are steadier. That's all. They're not obese. They're steadier. All right. So these are actually how we should look at the body composition and not make up our mind based on obesity or underweight. When you are obese, there is imbalance in your diet. So you have no rights whatsoever to label yourself with these doshas when you have an imbalance in your diet. All right. Okay. Now looking at the vayus. As I said earlier, even in yoga, we actually learn this. I mean, I learned it in my own journey. I mean, it is something very unique. It's not air. If you talk about vayu, it refers to air, but in this sense, it's not really air. It's more like a life force that's moving. So we talk about prana and apana. They are actually opposite life forces. Prana is the inhalatory part of your respiration and the breathing part. That means it's moving upward, right? But physically, if you think about it, air moves inward, right? So I'm not talking about air, I'm talking about the rejuvenation, the movement of the energy upward, right? So that's prana. Apana is basically exhalation. When you want to experience the flow of apana, you can actually experience it upon exhalation. That's immense exhalation, yeah? Maximum exhalation. So basically, apana nourishes the bottom, the base of our body, right? The organs in the abdominal region, the lower abdominal region. The prana rejuvenates the upper abdominal regions and the brain. Now, samana vayu is basically a center. The apana and prana meets there, and then it distributes accordingly to all the parts. So it's basically a center, a union for prana and apana. So all your digestive system is in that area, basically, right? Your digestive system, and then your heart is there. So it's emotion related, okay, thoughts related. So if you keep this healthy, your life force, which is rejuvenating all the parts, will bring good energy elsewhere. right? Udana Vayu is the upward moving breath or upward moving, what do you call, life force. And this is what gives you lightweightness. Okay. Have you seen a dead body or experience carrying a dead body in your house, when somebody passes away? Do you notice that people say uh, it's heavy weight, a dead body is heavy weight, you know? Um, that's because the Udana Vayu is gone. When you're dead, the Udana Vayu is gone. So the upward lifting is no more there. This life force that lifts you upward and keeps you buoyant like that, like you can walk so light and easy, that is Udana Vayu, right? Now, even though you may weigh 50 kg or 100 kg, when you walk, you're not really carrying all the 50 kg with you. There is a buoyancy in you, a vayu that's actually lifting upwards. So you walk around very light and easy. That is due to the existence of the Udana Vayu, right? And lastly, Vyana Vayu actually looks at the flow of blood and the nervous system. And when we actually die, Vyana Vayu is the last to leave the body. Because when it leaves the body, your whole rotting system will start. I think this is very relevant. If you look at people who have diabetes and who have got a foot ulcer, we say that it's becoming gangrenous because there's lack of blood flow to the region, right? So blood is related to keeping things preserved, well preserved. The minute the blood flow is cut off, that region will start to rot. So rotting process will start. So the minute Vyana Vayu leaves the body, the rotting process will begin. Okay, so it's related to the lymph and the blood system and the nervous control, right? Bandhas. Bandhas are basically the lock, to lock or to close off or to stop something. We've got three bandhas. Jalandhara bandha is situated at the throat region. Okay. Now at the throat region, it is very much close to one chakra that's also here, Later we look at the chakras. So this Jalandhara bandha is like a lock. When you lock something, you hold it and then you release. The extraction or the movement, the sudden movement of the energy at that point will rejuvenate everything around there, around here. So Jalandhara bandha is actually engaged to actually improve your breathing ability, to develop immense concentration ability. It's very beneficial for the throat region. So any persons who have thyroid problems will benefit immensely from this. And then we have the Uddiyana Bandha, somewhere near somewhere near a chakra, near the Manipur chakra. So this one is very near to your digestive system. So by engaging this Uddiyana Bandha, you actually keep this region very healthy. And do you know that this region is very important because good digestion gives you all nutrition that you need. Poor digestion will give you sickness. Right? So that is the Uddiyana Bandha. And the Mula Bandha is actually very close to the Muladhara chakra. And it strengthens the pelvic floor. And that is also the region you find your large intestine, your rectum, your anus. And that region is also has got a lot of autonomic nervous system innervations. So with control to this foundation of the body, you can actually sit and do a lot of meditation to normalize your mind, to calm your system, right? So these bandhas are usually engaged during pranayama, breathing exercises, to actually activate certain chakras, to actually improve the flow of energy in these regions, right? And finally, I cannot go without talking about chakras because then it would be a big injustice to yoga. Because the ultimate concept of yoga is actually to align all these chakras. All right, we've got 7 chakras starting from the root chakra, Muladhara chakra, and then we have the Swadhisthana, then we have the Manipura, Anahata, Visuddhi chakra, then the Ajna chakra, and the Sahasrara chakra. So all these chakras, if you can look at this diagram itself, it's aligned in a straight line, And what are they actually? In Tamil, chakra means what? A wheel, right? Chakra. It's basically an energy center, or energy wheel center, or something that's accumulated in these different positions, right? It governs different sort of strength in us. For example, your Muladhara chakra gives you trust and solidity, that foundation, like security. You feel very grounded and very secure if your Muladhara chakra is well balanced. And if you move up a bit, Swadhisthana, this is where all your sexual organs are. So if your if your Swadhisthana chakra is well balanced, your sexual performances will be healthy. And there won't be any hiccups there. Your life in relation to sexual activities, and also creativity, not just sexuality, and also creativity will be well balanced, will be healthy. As you move up, you have your Manipur chakra, which is related to wisdom. And then you have Anahata, love. When this chakra is well balanced, you are able to express love, you are able to show love to everybody. People with imbalances with this heart chakra, they are unable to love, they're unable to open up, they're unable to embrace people, and feel what we call as love. Throat chakra, the Visuddhi chakra, this chakra actually governs the sense of speech. I don't mean that when you have a good Visuddhi chakra, you talk a lot. No. You actually gain the wisdom of choosing what to say, when to say, how to say it in the right way without causing unkindness. You see the relationship together again with yamas. So all these chakras, when it's well aligned, your whole life is a full circle. It's a full balance of a circle, right? Okay. Now, how to relate these chakras to your body organs. Now sit and think carefully. At every point of this chakra within your body, there are important endocrine organs. If not endocrine, they are actually organs, right? For example, we talk about the Muladhara chakra. You have got your testes, your large intestine, is in that area, right? If you move to Swadhisthana, you have the gonads. You move to Manipur, you have your pancreas. You move to Anahata, you have the thymus gland. Of course, thymus gland is no longer relevant when we attain puberty, but there's also your heart over there, right? And then when you move to Visuddhi, it governs the thyroid and parathyroid, very important glands. Don't take the thyroid gland so lightly, please. Thyroid gland is a very important gland in the body. And then as you move to the Ajna chakra, you have got the pituitary glands. Pituitary governs a lot of these other glands in the body, right? And then the Sahasrara chakra, the pineal gland. Okay, so all this. So when you actually look at chakra, it's imaginary. You have to actually visualize it. You have to visualize it in your mind because you can't see it, right? But these organs are real. They are physical. You cut open a cadaver, you can see all these organs, right? So these are real. So what you can do is when you actually visualize the chakra, you will actually create an idea of consciousness, and then you link these regions to the chakra, and then you meditate upon that. So that will actually enhance your endocrine function, and with the enhance and balance endocrine function, you actually prevent diseases. So this is how it works, because when you study pharmacology and pathophysiology and whatnot, you do understand that a lot of problems arise with imbalances in endocrine system, right? Diabetes is also because of endocrine system. Adrenal gland deficiencies, what about Crohn's disease, and all this arise from imbalances in our glands. So basically, when you talk about the chakra, you're talking about more or less balancing out the functions of all these endocrines so that they go hand in hand and proper. When they are proper, we have a balanced life, good mental state, good physical state. Okay, so you saw there are so many intricacies in yoga itself, right? It's not just about carrying a mat and going and doing some acrobatic movements. It's not just that. So much more to yoga. So when you do your asanas after this, try to relate, try to seek knowledge, try to learn more. Okay. Now I would love to talk about food because without this aspect, yoga is useless also. Without doing this proper, then your yoga practice is going to be a waste. So if you talk about Ayurveda definition of foods, they actually classified into 3 types of food: the sattvic, the rajasic, and the tamasic food. Now, sattvic food, I've tried to list, I can't list everything, but I've tried to put in some things, and that could give you some idea about what kind of foods that you can eat. I know you'll be fretting and scolding me because there's no non-veg there, right, in sattvic food? I don't see any non-veg there, right? Okay. I'm not saying and I'm not preaching non-veg here. I'm just trying to tell you, make good choices. You don't have to turn vegetarian. Make intelligent choices. If you need to eat meat, do incorporate this sattvic diet as well. Put more of this, all right? And try to keep away from all tamasic food. Tamasic foods are food without life. They're so overprocessed, like your nuggets and your sausages and all that. It's useless to eat that. Of course, it's easy. It's very easy to just buy and walk around with a burger. It's very easy compared to eating banana leaf food. It's very easy to eat tamasic food. It's in abundance. You come out into the city, you can see a row of shops, and 3 out of 4 will be selling tamasic food. So making intelligent choices becomes a challenge, right? But you as a person, as a yogi, as a yoga practitioner, as a person who wants to go into yoga, you have the control and you have the decision making to yourself. You can choose. Now, if you were to look at the rajasic component of food, they are the ones that are heavily spiced, they are spicy, salty, flavored, and then they are, when you take them, they irritate your stomach. A lot of garlic and onion-based food can do this actually. Even stimulants like the alcoholic drinks, coffee, they all come into rajasic diet, right? Of course, the best ideal one would be sattvic, but in your daily life, be practical. Incorporate more sattvic food into your daily life. You will see the difference. Okay, I'm not preaching vegetarianism or veganism. I'm neither. I'm just saying make wise choices, make smart choices, all right? Now, going for the mat. Yeah, let's do that. So once you've decided, okay, I'm going to join a yoga class. Major problem here is many join it without having an intention. You have no intention. You say, my friend went, so I went. Today I want to lose weight, tomorrow I just want to be slim. You don't have a fixated intention for doing yoga. Get something fixated first, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to improve your sleep, or whether you just want to feel healthy, or you want to reduce pain. Because what your intention is will determine your success rate in the end. If you want to lose weight, but you go and you adopt all the asanas that promote sleep, I think you're going to put on more weight, right? So it's logic basically. So set an intention first, right? So set your intention or goal. Number 2, warm up. Always, I tell this to all my students, my children, right? Don't do anything without warm up. Warm up is like pouring oils into the joints first before you do anything. It prevents injury, definitely. It ensures minimal injury. It also makes your asana a success. The chance for you to do the asana improves by few folds, if you do warm-ups. All right. I would like to share with you my first experience of yoga class. The first yoga teacher I went to, believe it or not, for a whole 2 to 3 weeks, we were just doing warm-up. Until I came to a point that I was fed up and I was thinking, warm-up? When is the yoga going to come? But today, I have to thank her because of those warm-ups, asanas became easy. Now, many teachers may skip the warm-up part because they don't have time. But no, you can skip anything but the warm-up. Warm-up you should not skip, right? So do some light warm-ups, light stretches before you do your asanas. And then when you come to the asana part, You don't have to do everything that everybody does. No, I told you, you have a unique body, right? So look at the asana and reflect on your body. Are you able to do that? Is that visible? Is that going to injure you or not? Make wise decisions and think back again, what is the benefit you're trying to seek? And then practice daily. That is where your discipline should come. Practice daily. If not daily, at least keep a routine on an alternate day, 3 times a week, something like that. Do not let go. And then, of course, reflect. Reflect on what you've done, how it has benefited you. First day of yoga, after 10 days, how you have changed, how you have grown. Reflect and perfect yourself, right? Now, yoga, asanas basically revolve around some particular movements which are pretty standard, like spinal flexion, extension, rotation, twisting. So it's basically the movements are pretty standard, all right? So first of all, just some tips I would like to share with you. Okay, I can't teach you yoga over the online screen like this, but I can teach you some tips that you can choose. For example, look at what you want to achieve. For example, if you want to open up your chest for better breathing exercise, this is very beneficial for people with who are always having low immunity problem, always getting flu and cough and whatnot. It also benefits the asthma patients, infection, respiratory infections. If you want to gain better breathing exercises, you need to do some stretching towards the chest region. You can do Setu Bandhasana, like choice 1. That can be scary for some people, trust me. If you think that you don't want to stretch your chest and that chest region that way, why don't you go to second choice? Bhujangasana also strengthens the spine, it all opens up your chest as well. You go into Bhujangasana with an inhalation, it's a good practice to open up your chest. So you have choices, and this is only 2 I'm showing you. But there are so many other variations that can do the same, can achieve the same benefit that you want. All right? So make these wise choices associated with your body. Don't do something just because someone else is doing. Your master is doing it, so I will do it. Your master is a different level. You may reach the master's level one day, but don't injure yourself. That's my point. Don't injure yourself. Some students become better than the masters, definitely, because different people have different bodies. Okay. Let's say you want to improve your spinal flexibility, your spine, because we always sit down so much, right? So your spine is like stacked up like that and becomes a bit stiff. After some time, you have got aches here and there, right? So what can you do to make it flexible? Dhanurasana. I'm showing choice 1 is Dhanurasana. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just showing you that can be done for for flexibility of spinal column. At the same time, you can do the similar thing in Chakrasana, in choice 2. So if you give me a choice, Chakrasana can cause injury if you're not careful. So Dhanurasana would be a better, smarter choice, safer choice. I believe this is how you should look at the asana. Not just do it because everybody is doing it. Not everybody can do everything. You have to tailor it to your body because we have come from different backgrounds. We've eaten different meals. Our composition, we are a Annamaya Kosha, which is different among all of us. We are heaps of food which are different, right? So choose your asanas carefully. Keep opening practices. Some of us, I've seen personally, some of my students, they can't sit in a cross-legged position. They can't. Because of that, they refuse to go to temple. They don't want to go to temple because they can't sit down. When people give you banana leaf in the temple, they put it down on the floor. You have to sit, right? You have to cross your legs. You can't sit like that. Then how are you going to pray? How are you going to meditate? Right? You can't do all this. So hip opening practices are good to actually improve the flexibility around the groin area, the pelvis, right? So you can do the Ekapada Raja Kapotasana asana, which is shown in choice 2. But that could be very difficult and very advanced. But you can always opt for choice 1, which is Baddha Konasana. It's much simpler. you're well rested. At the same time, your muscles get enough stretching. So, making the right choice once again. Yeah? Say you want to increase blood flow to your brain. So, you can do Siddhasana. Siddhasana is not something that everybody can do. For some people, it creates a lot of fear. I believe that when I first started yoga, I was so scared of Siddhasana, and then when I was tutored how to do it, then only I learned how to do it. So if you are afraid of doing Sirsasana, you can always opt to do Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, like in choice 2. It also promotes blood flow to the brain. So good blood flow to the brain will give you good memory, alertness, mental acuity. Very useful for students who study long hours. When you feel you're mentally corrupted, you should just go and do this. It creates a new energy for you, right? I would like to share a little bit more before I end my speech. Let's say you want to strengthen your thigh muscles. Now, choice 1 is showing you Ustrasana, camel pose. This can tone up your thigh muscles very well, but not everybody can actually bend backward like that. Some people are very scared and some people don't have the spinal flexibility for it. So if you can't do that, but you still want the benefit of toned thigh muscles, toned quadriceps, you can always go for choice 2. Padahastasana is still, or Padangushtasana still does the same thing with other overlapping benefits. Toning the arms, you can always do a plank, or you can do a dolphin, whichever one that is comfortable to you. So, moral of the story here is choose your asanas. That's why in this slide I was actually stressing on choose your asanas in number 3. See, choose your asanas, because I don't believe in doing everything. If you want the benefit, you choose and do. In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to brace through any pandemic, let it be COVID, let it be anything else. Can even be COVID-20 maybe, I'm not sure. But any pandemic at all, yoga can give you all that strength that you need. What you need is, number 1, you need discipline. When they impose MCO, you need the discipline to stay indoors. You need to do your work with discipline. You need to do all your exercises. You need to choose your food. Everything is discipline, right? Yoga teaches you discipline. Remember, tapas? Good baseline health. You need to choose what you eat. And Ayurveda preaches that, right? Mental strength. You need a good mental strength to stay well and safe with your family during these pandemic times, Emotional strength. Above all, you need to trust God. And you need to focus on what you're doing, what you want to achieve, right? And you need intelligence in accepting information, processing knowledge, and reacting accordingly. So yoga can give you all this. And if it can give you all this, you can brace through any pandemic, definitely, right? So now the question to yourself, what should I do? Set your mind, people, set your mind. Decide, I want to live healthy. Decision making is the most important part. Then you choose your tutor. Now, when I say choose your tutor, I don't mean a person per se. It can be even an internet, YouTube connection, whatever page, whatever. Choose who your teacher will be. All right? But choose wisely. Okay? Discipline your practice. Discipline yourself to practice. That's what it means. Discipline to practice. Make moments of calmness. Make moments of calmness means meditate. I'm telling you basically to meditate. Please stay calm, sit down, reflect. If you've got nothing to meditate on, at least sit quietly and thank the divine energy for the blessings you have. You are not inflicted with the disease. You have your family with you. You have got money to buy food. At least sit and thank the divine energy for all that you have. Right? Make healthy choices of food. Always, that is the baseline, that's most fundamental. Strategize and organize. Strategize. I know we have a busy schedule. We have got classes, we've got family, we've got assignments, a lot of things. Strategy. If you don't plan, you will fail. This is well known to everybody. So strategize and organize. And finally, reflect, reflect, and reflect, and reflect always. Then only you can perfect yourself. All right. So thank you very much for this beautiful opportunity to share whatever I know about yoga with all of you. What I've given is just the tip of the iceberg. And maybe I'm also on that journey. So there is a mountain of things that I still need to learn. But I hope that you can appreciate and you benefited from the session today. So thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Bama, madam.
Thank you very
Really,
much,
we
sir.
had
Wonderful presentation.
a wonderful presentation, madam.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm
Elaborated,
glad
very
I love it.
excellent.
Okay. Is there any questions that if there is any questions that I can actually help to answer? Let me look at the
One of the
comments.
students asked one question, madam.
Yeah.
Can I read, sir?
No, never mind. I can see it now here.
Please, sir, please.
Okay. Who first introduced yoga and when the year, and who is the spread the yoga in the worldwide? My goodness. You know something? There are a lot of theories about who first brought yoga and all that. It happened many thousand years ago. To me, I myself was exposed to a few versions of who brought it. That's why we have so many versions. Like we have Ashtanga, we have Hatha. Some say the Saptarishi, some say it's the Adi Yogi. But the question here is whether the year it came is important as to whether today we want to embrace this. Right. When it came so many thousand years ago when human race were actually taught to live healthy. But do we really need to know that? Do we really need to know? Like, for example, when I was quoting the 8 limbs of yoga, I was actually following Patanjali ji, introduced the 8 limbs of yoga, the Ashtanga yoga. But there are a lot of other theories to that. And also this, I don't know, it's a student or a lecturer also asked whether is there yoga for any specific treatment for any diseases? Actually, if you talk about yoga, just like how I put it in a nutshell just now, it's healthy living. It's a science of healthy living, you know. So once you have already deviated and you've caused some disease, depending on the nature of that disease, then you can see the extent of how much yoga can actually bring you back. Sometimes if it's an infection, it's an external agent, you can't sit and fight the bacteria by doing yoga. You need an external agent. So we have to also think like a pharmacist here, you know. So you need the antibiotic, so you do it. You use it. You arrest the disease. But after that, how are you going to rejuvenate the person and bring him back into balanced lifestyle? Bring him back into balanced chakra so that he doesn't fall back into that imbalance. That's where yoga comes in. I wouldn't preach or prescribe yoga to cure cancer or to cure heart disease and so on. I wouldn't want to do that. I still think that we are not fit yet to claim ourselves as good yoga practitioners by just doing asanas, by just practicing on the mat. We have got to understand the whole science to it. And we are still at the early stage of it because it has been debated so much, right? So anyway, I'm also in the path of learning still. I'm still learning, and I believe I can learn from so many people, even students. The dance of Bharatam and music hearing and singing can include yoga. I'm a strong believer in music. So music itself is a meditative thing in our life. That's why in yoga, we have something called the Bhakti yoga, where we chant and sing songs to actually create that bliss within us. Certain mantras or certain devarams that we sing have got that effect on the human system, whereby we can actually feel the bliss. We can actually feel the positivity. So yes, I believe that music, artistic things like Bharadam, it's yoga by itself. But don't con yourself by telling yourself that, oh, I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer, so I can eat whatever nonsense and still be healthy because Bharatanatyam is yoga. No, please don't cheat yourself like that. All right, that's not true. Okay. What is the difference between the yoga and gym workout for reducing overweight, over body weight? Wow, Mr. Raghavendran has got so many questions. Okay, what's the difference between yoga and gym workout? You know something? Whenever I call my friends, let's do yoga, they seem to think that yoga is too slow. Too slow. I'm not going to lose weight in enough time. I'm going to take like years to lose weight if I do yoga, but if I go to the gym, I can do it like in 2 weeks. See, first of all, losing weight is not just by working out. You have to balance out the diet. Then you have to make sure your intake and your output is balanced out. If you're going to lose weight, your output of energy should be more than whatever your intake. So if you're going to do a workout, it can be yoga, it can be power yoga. You can do extreme repetitive movements in yoga also to create that kind of burning of calories. Yes, you can. I've done that also. But if you go back and you continue consuming food that is, high calories, then it's not going to be working out for you. Even gym is like that. You can do whatever you want in gym workouts. You can build muscles, you can lose weight. But if you come back and you resort back to your old ways of eating unhealthy food, then what happens? Right? There's a big difference between the two in the sense that yoga is life related. It's not an exercise. When I say it's life related exercise, gym is exercise. You just go, do the exercise and come back. Yoga is holistic. You do yoga, asana is only one aspect. So just now what I was comparing power yoga, I was comparing asana with workout. I was not comparing yoga with workout because yoga and workout is not comparable. Please do not do this for comparing. Questions? Thank you very much. If there's no questions, then I hope I have shared what I know. I do not know so many things. I'm on a very special journey in learning more and more about yoga. Whatever I said, if I have caused any unkind kindness to you, I would like to apologize. Sorry if it has hurt anyone's feelings. And as I've stressed before, this is not religion related. It is purely the science of living. So if you really believe in it, I wish all of you good health. This COVID pandemic, stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. Continue your struggles, not struggles, continue your striving excellence in your education. And God bless all of you. Vanakkam.
Thank you very much, madam. I want to share something in this session with my friend Dr. Venkadeshan permission. Madam, today really we learn a lot. We learn very new things about yoga and things what we have to do during this pandemic. Not only this pandemic, even any upcoming pandemics also. So it is a very excellent session, and I opener about the yoga practices for all. Even today, our students are listening very well. More than 180 participants are there. So really, it's a very wonderful speech by you, and very interactive sessions also happen. And we know many myths about the yoga were encountered with proper evidences. You can give very lot of information about the literature about the pandemics also. So really, we got all the information, madam. Thank you very much for your today's session. Thank you, madam. And also, you explain in very simple language, so it's very, very easy to understand by everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Anand, for your very sincere and genuine sharing. Professor Dr. Venkadeshan, I hope I have fulfilled your aspiration in terms of this talk, sir.
Yes, madam. This is Anbaraj, madam. Thank you for your wonderful presentation.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So if there is anything else, no
No,
other questions?
it went well, madam. Thank you for your wonderful presentation, madam. We learned a lot of things about yoga. So still, with that is something like aerobic, like we have to control our breath like that. But we don't. Other than that, so yoga is not a small thing. It have a lot of different things. So thank you for explaining us.
Thank you, Professor. I would tell you that whatever I've shared today is not even, it's just the tip of an iceberg, you know, it's vast. You can talk for days about all the attributes that I shared just now. It's just that I'm so glad that at least I get this opportunity, this window of opportunity to share with so many people who are viewing. And I believe some of them who are viewing are also from Malaysia. So I think the misconception about yoga will now go away. So now you have a good understanding about yoga. And I think more people will daringly start to do these yoga practices for their well-being. And I wish all of you the best in your upcoming, endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Any other questions? Shall we end, sir?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll leave the session now. Thank you for the opportunity. God bless all of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you
Thank you,
for the listening, and students and my ex-colleagues. Thank you very much for all. Thank you.
Can I conclude, madam? Yeah.